Okay.
Live now.
I guess so. I just got a little nod and a look.
James could stop.
Should I count you
cursing now.
down?
Yeah.
You could just say
Like an
live.
old-time news producer.
And 5, 4.
Do it
Yeah, and then you
live.
go silent
Yeah.
for the last 2. 2, 1. Point. Hey, hello. It is the Go Birds podcast presented by the Bet Parks Casino and Sportsbook app. You love to play. You play to win. You bet. Bet Parks. Eliot Shorr-Parks. James Seltzer with you. What up, pal? How
What
are
up?
you?
How's it
You look
going?
great today, as usual.
I don't feel
Put
like
together.
I look great. Yeah.
Really?
Well, so I worked out this morning, which I do feel good about. But the tough thing about working out is like then you're really sweaty and you get in a hot shower and then I have to leave right away because I don't want to be late.
Mm-hmm.
So I was feeling a bit sweaty on the way to work.
Well, you look
You know,
great, buddy. Look at
That's the
that.
type of honest feedback I give
It's
on the Go Birds pod.
A
Yeah.
bit sweaty.
I was feeling a bit sweaty. I wore my eye patches out of the house, which
Eye patches.
Yeah, I wear like in the morning I try to do it. Just get the eyes.
Oh,
puffed
see,
a
I
little.
just let the puff go.
Dude,
I
I'm
mean, look
telling
at-
you, I
look
think
at
you
these.
would love it. It is. It's
So
fantastic.
I have never in any way, shape, or form done any of that type of like skin, hair care, like whatever. Like,
So me
like
neither,
just put
honestly.
shampoo there and
Yeah.
I'll use it. Like I don't lotion. I don't do any of that stuff.
Like not to
I'm sure I'm not saying that this is good that I
Right.
don't. I'm just saying I've never done any.
So not to sound like grimy, but I can't remember the last time I put soap on my face.
So I do wash my face.
I don't, I'll do my body
Like
and
I
I
have face
shampoo.
wash stuff that.
See, I don't
So
do
now
that.
when I get a big beard, less so, like I'll
Right.
sometimes I'll
Well, it's
just
hard to wash
shampoo
through
the whole
that.
beard face thing
Yeah.
because I let it go sometimes.
I never, knock on wood, like I never break out. Like, with,
Yeah, me neither. I've never.
so
had
I
any-
just don't
yeah.
feel a need to, but I'm telling you, and this is for the general Go Birds audience. I picked this up from Kristen, obviously.
Yeah,
She
I
does it.
assume so.
Yeah, it's very nice. You put it under
Emily,
your eyes.
Emily
yeah.
has eye things. that
They're
she
not.
puts on.
I'm telling you,
I've never
try
put
it. You will love
I
it.
don't
As a
know.
man that doesn't get enough sleep
I don't know.
sometimes,
That's
I'm
true.
sure.
I mean, I felt so. It's funny that you bring this up because it's not just that. Like I am very big on just not noticing things. We've talked about this
Yeah.
in the pod before.
It's
You
probably
know,
the better.
I
part.
had the one buddy's house that I went to 7 years. I would go there like 3 nights a week to
Right.
watch the Phillies. And one day there were people working on the door. I'm like, hey, what's going on? He's like, they're fixing the hole in the door. I'm like, what hole in the door? He's like, bro,
been there.
had a huge hole in the door the entire time you know me. Like, so like I missed stuff.
Right.
This morning I actually woke up and I was looking at myself in the mirror and I was like, damn, like I got some dark circles.
That's how I started. Well, to be fair,
I never think that way. I was like, damn, I look really tired.
you
today.
are
So-
50 now.
Yeah, just,
So-
according to Jack Fritz. I am.
Yeah, exactly.
43. Yes.
43.
Happy
yes.
birthday to me.
Said it on the
I
Daily Pod
know.
multiple
Not
times.
a
Yeah, I know you obviously not.
I will say I had a lovely birthday.
Very nice.
So as you get older, I'm sure people can identify with this. It's like, sucks. It's my birthday. I'm a year older. It's like,
Right.
wow, that 42 was old enough. Now I'm 43. Like
yeah,
that sucks. But it was actually a really lovely little birthday.
got
Like
a nice little nap.
I got a great
Got
nap.
a great nap.
I napped for like 3 hours.
Wow.
It was
Wow.
rainy
Woke up
out.
fresh on the
Oh,
floor. It was rainy out
It was
yesterday.
a perfect day
Yeah.
for it. And I went to dinner with my uncle, my mom. I had a night. And obviously, I'm in Zoe.
Love it.
And I got a sweet little happy birthday video from Zoe, from Emily when I was doing the show yesterday.
That's all you can ask.
Maybe I'll
for.
play it during Final Thoughts.
Maybe that can be your Zoe.
There it is.
There you go.
All right. So yeah.
Um,
So I was very nice. Thank
Speaking of weather, how about this hurricane?
you. What a segue
What is-
that was.
I mean, it's
So
in
what-
Tampa.
So yes. So it looks like it's there now, right? The thing is like, so,
yeah, I think it'll be fine by Sunday. So
I mean, I love how you're asking me about the
I know.
hurricane.
It's,
I am
it's a
sure
segue
you
to
know
me. Yeah.
maybe somewhere in the neighborhood of 10,000 times more about
Yes.
this hurricane than I do. I know there's a hurricane. I don't even know what name it is. So Helene, I
Helene,
thought so.
yeah.
Okay, so I know more than I thought. That's all I know. Talk to
Well,
me.
so I had actually a real one reach out to me, auto downloader, that's going to Tampa Bay for a bachelor party. this week. Rough timing. But I was saying that if you get stranded in the airport for a few hours, it's not the worst way to start a bachelor party. Drink in the
Yeah,
airport,
drink,
hang
yeah.
out. Yeah. But anyway, for the game.
So hold on real quick. So when is this supposed to go through? Like, so what?
So I
when is
believe
it
it's
so-
happening like
now.
nowish.
So it's
I mean,
supposed to
obviously
be
it depends
through
when you're
by
listening.
how long is like?
I think like tomorrow morning it'll be basically.
So
done.
the worry is more like, does it? Is the field still kind of?
I
wet?
guess, yeah, I mean, you would
think
hope-
it'll be. It feels
I
like
think
it'll,
it'll
be
be
fine.
fine.
I'm not too worried about for the Sunday game.
Yeah, I think
The
the
bachelor
bigger,
party, if you're trying to go down tomorrow, maybe tougher.
right?
but-
The bigger issue would be if you're traveling for the game. Your flight,
Yeah, the
like,
Friday, type of
if
thing,
you're flying out Saturday, I'm flying out Saturday night,
which
because
is
we have-
probably good.
I was thinking that, but then also, what if flights get delayed, and everything gets pushed back? And since I'm one of the last flights, but
I think it'll be all
keep everybody updated on that. It's probably not the
Good.
most compelling podcast
right.
point.
So
but-
birds. No,
yeah, but it does look like the Eagles won't be impacted by
Good.
it.
good news because it'll probably be raining here this weekend. I would think, right?
Yeah, it's supposed to rain this weekend.
Yeah, well,
it hasn't rained in forever, by the way.
Well, it rained yesterday.
But like not really. I'm saying,
Yeah,
like,
we have not had a big an Elliot
and
scared.
Thank God.
We have not had an
God.
Elliot scared rain.
Right,
in a
exactly.
While. Yeah.
Like over 2 inches in a while.
All right. I do have so later in the final thoughts, just to tease it, mention that we'll play Zoe video. I've got my 90s 5 set, and I painstaking effort into this. And I will also tease tomorrow, which if you're watching the YouTube, stay here.
Right.
My final thought for the
Parks
Fix Pod tomorrow is one of my most aggressive final thoughts I've ever had.
To budget some extra time.
Yeah,
for
it's super. It's a little gross, but I think it's factually something that we should all get on board with.
I just said I haven't put soap on my face in years.
Yeah,
so I think
we're heading in that direction.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk birds.
All right.
Let's start with where you wanted to start, because you want to go a little positivity to start.
Oh yeah, okay.
You're feeling good about the Georgia guys right now. I mean, I think you've been the leader of the, is it okay with the Georgia guy asking questions, not necessarily saying it's a bad thing, but I think you have constantly been like, the Georgia thing is a thing.
So I have 2 factions I want to give major props to for the Saints game, which I don't think I gave enough. Well, we definitely talked about Jalen Carter, which we talked,
who still we agree the best defensive player on the field, the best player on the field, best defensive performance of the season by the Eagles.
It was unbelievable.
We like multiple guests, Ross Tucker, Jason Kelsey, like, all these people coming on being like, yeah, like that's like best defensive player in football type stuff.
So you know how you'll hear like draft people say this?
She was like, he wrecked the game. He's like, he literally wrecked the game.
You'll hear draft people say this, that they'll watch tape of like one prospect, but somebody else keeps jumping off.
Yeah.
So I discovered this new website, which like is an absolute game changer. So you can literally put in the name of the player and it plays every single play they were on the field in a row.
That is a phenomenal idea.
So last night I went and I watched every snap for Bryce Huff, Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, and Jordan Davis. And obviously a lot of them were the same snap. So I've watched this game like multiple times,
Look
right?
At you. Doing the work.
No big deal to me.
Doing the beat writer we need.
It was funny. My friend called me last night. He's like, "Oh, are you working?" I'm like, "Yeah, just watching tape." He's like, "What are you on the team?" Like, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair. It's a fair criticism.
I generally feel like even if it is, this is film like type stuff, the way they're doing this. But I feel like any website or YouTube thing, it can't. Like, I feel like you have to have the coach's tape to call it tape.
Well, so it is a coach's tape.
Oh, okay.
For what it's worth. It's all 22.
No, I figure it'd be all 22. I'm saying, like, you have to literally be in the NFL.
I agree. I agree.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, you say watching tape, it's kind of corny.
It's like, yeah.
I agree.
That's all I'm saying.
I watched the plays multiple times.
There we go. Perfect.
So I have thoughts on all of them, which I want to get to. But the one thing.
On every play, it's going to be a long pod.
I know. It'll be a long pod. Yeah. No Zoeisms at the end of this.
No.
Pod. But,
sorry.
So, anyway, I'll start with Jalen Carter. Like, as I said, like sometimes draft people will be watching a player and you're watching one guy and the other guy keeps standing out. It was impossible not to watch Jalen Carter on almost every snap. I mean, what he did to that Saints defensive line, offensive line, unbelievable. And Vic Fangio talked yesterday or 2 days ago, I guess. And he said that he thought Jalen Carter attacked the week with like a renewed focus and like details and all that. And I'm going to give Vic Fangio some credit here.
Wow, look at you.
I don't think Jalen Carter gets benched unless Vic Fangio's here. I think
that series
for the series last week. It's like I think,
and credit to Jalen Carter with that in mind that it
is clear he came extremely motivated.
Yeah,
like the effort. I mean, first of all, just the physical ability he had to throw aside guards was unbelievable. And like Cesar Ruiz is not a bad guard. Like he's a good. There were plays where he just tossed him to the side. But outside of that, what stood out to me watching it is the effort he gave was unbelievable. Like jumping every time the ball is thrown, running to their side of the field to finish a tackle, like celebrating after every play. That dude was fired up, and you could tell as the game went on.
At the end of the game,
obviously, right.
You could tell he was fired up.
You could tell as the game went on that like he knew he was crushing it, and it motivated him to like kill it even more. And I mean, it was unbelievable. Like we got to watch Fletcher Cox for a lot of years, and we saw a lot of great Fletcher Cox games. And obviously, this is hyperbolic to say. Like, I can't remember a time I saw a defensive tackle just wreck an entire game that way.
So I think the only time I remember Fletcher Cox doing that, or at least like kind of doing that, was that Carolina game in 2017.
Oh, yeah.
He was unbelievable. But this is a great point. I do think it highlights, because Fletcher Cox, one of the great defensive linemen in Eagles history, certainly of our lifetime. Like, Jalen Carter's better. Like he's got, like, he doesn't have the career that Fletcher Cox has. He's not as great a player.
You think he's better?
But I think just like talent, like ceiling, what they can be. I think Jalen Carter is. I mean, look, we never talked about Fletcher Cox being the best defensive player in football. Like we talked about being a great defensive lineman who, was the best player on the Eagles and stuff potentially. We were never like, this guy can be Aaron Donald. Yeah. Like Jalen Carter could be Aaron freaking Donald. Yeah. Or light, at least.
So I agree with most of that.
Aaron Donald should be on his own
level.
And
Fletcher Cox, too,
he was great. I'm not saying, again, I'm just saying Jalen Carter has that.
Jalen Carter has the raw ability. I don't think
that's what I'm trying to say.
Right?
Fletcher put it all together for many years. Yeah. I'm not saying he's there yet.
No, I'm not.
I'm just saying his ceiling is higher than Fletcher's.
Yeah, I'm not even disagreeing. It just I hadn't thought about it. So I'm thinking through it now. Like, and it's a bold statement to make.
Yeah,
Fletcher had a Eagles Hall of Fame career. Jalen Carter, if he plays, look, he won't play at that level for the rest of the season. That would be unbelievable. But if he plays 80% of that, what he played on Sunday the whole season, I mean, he'll be first team. Like, he'll be defensive player of the year.
He has a chance to be. Yeah, absolutely.
I've never seen a player wreck a game like that. Like running plays, passing plays, like finishing tackles. I mean, it was crazy. He was unbelievable.
And I will say, though, to your point, he might not do that all year, but I do think that and it's both a good and a bad thing, hopefully just a good thing, but it does set him up where it's like, we know you could do it, man.
Exactly. Well,
we know you could do it, right?
Standard now.
You set the standard. The standard is the standard. The whole Jalen thing, like you've set that. We saw you do that. Like we know you got it, and especially the effort part. Look, not every game's going to go great. Like teams will have plans. Like we were talking with Jason Kelsey today about why they were so good against Aaron Donald, and he's like, we doubled him every play. Like it didn't even matter. He's like, they could come out with a front where it's like you can't double him, and we'd still double him. Whatever. Yeah. If Jalen keeps playing this well, there will be teams that attack him that way. So like he might not have the same production. But when teams attack him that way, it's going to let other people have production. He can still have that same type of impact. But the point is the effort. Like we have seen that he can go, that he could do that. So the effort standard is set.
Well, we said this last week on Go Birds. If you look at the 3 Go Birds radio, I should specify, because everything we say is on Go Birds.
Damn right.
Well, I guess the morning show, but regardless.
That's good. And like the 8 other shows.
We said this on Go Birds. If you look at the 3 Georgia guys, the question we had about Jalen Carter was, does he have it in him to be an NFL player for 10 years? Like, it's not the talent, it's the effort. And I also think that watching him in that game, he had to leave that game and feel like a emotional high that you have to chase that. Like, I would think next week against Tampa, he wants to feel that again, like that feeling of dominating and everything. So, yeah, I mean, and what stood out is, they did double him on mostly every play. But then also what Fangio did, he moved him to the outside, and he looked good as an edge rusher. Like, he looked good going around the edge. So that's, I think, a potential difference between him and Fletcher if we want to keep that going. I do think Jalen Carter has it in him a little more to be like the edge rusher guy. Fletcher was always more of a defensive tackle, but it was just unbelievable. Like, I think after how much criticism we've given him the first 2 weeks, and rightfully so, he was everything the Eagles could have hoped for in that game. Like, if it changes their whole defensive line, if he's that good this year.
All right, let's get to the other Georgia guys.
All right, so Jordan Davis. First of all, what stood out to me watching Jordan Davis is he still gets doubled a fair amount. Like, whether or not he deserves the double, I don't know. But it felt like almost every snap, and this is probably speaking of the edges more, which we'll get to, they doubled Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter, it felt like, on almost every snap, and they just showed no respect whatsoever to the Eagles' edges. Like, they had tight ends on the edges, and we'll talk about that with Bryce Huff. But Jordan Davis, I thought, actually played pretty well. I still think there's plays where he looks tired, like he just stands up, and that's kind of it. But on the plays where he is
driving
not tired,
and staying low.
Yeah, like his sack, watching that sack live, and even watching it back before I got the coach's tape, I thought it was a bit of a lucky sack. But you look at it, he squeezes through a hole to get to that. I'm surprised a man of his size, like the athleticism, the ability to like keep your agility as you went through, and again, effort. Like, I think that's what really stood out to me about the Georgia guys. The effort they showed was impressive. And I know a lot of people listen and go, well, they should try. They're making millions of. That's just not how it is. Like, let's be real. It doesn't matter what you make. There's days where you just don't try, right?
As hard as you should.
Yes, right. And the effort Jordan Davis showed, again, there's still some plays where I think he's tired, but I thought he was good.
Love it.
I was impressed
we had the same
by Jordan Davis.
Same impression.
Impacted the run game. Like, lots of times where he filled a hole and the run had to bounce to the outside. Like, I thought watching all of his snaps, it felt like he was impacting.
Yeah, I thought the interior of the line was the star of the game for them. Yeah. And obviously Jalen, the big one. But I'm right there with you. I thought it was great to see. And look, Jordan Davis, we talked about this. I do think he, like, high floor is probably not, like, he does have a somewhat high floor as a player in the sense that
I think he does have a high floor.
But
he'll always be able to play 20 snaps in
right.
NFL.
But the potential is so much higher given the athletic ability that he has. And it's good to see that. And look, you want these guys to push each other. You know, like, hey, both of these guys show effort because you push each other to push effort.
Well, one thing Hugh Douglas said on the midday show that maybe I undersold a little is he kept saying going into the Saints game that this was a pride game for the Eagles. That after getting embarrassed last week against the Falcons, like they would come out fired up. And I think that's what we saw.
100%.
And we'll talk about that when we get to Nick. But like, I really thought the defense as a whole came out and like the attitude was unbelievable.
Let's get to the other edge rushers, Nolan Smith, and then we'll throw into Bryce Huff, and then we'll get to the Jalen.
Yeah, so Nolan Smith, I think is good against the run. Like he's athletic. I thought it was impressive the way he got to runs and weren't always to his side. As a pass rusher, it's just it's not there. Like, and we'll get Bryce into this. What really stood out to me was how little they won any of their one-on-one matchups. Like I watched every Bryce play and every Nolan Smith play. I don't think Nolan got to the quarterback a single time.
Yeah.
And Bryce, I think maybe got there once, but like what was just wild to me is
another 0 on the stat sheet for Bryce Huff.
What's wild to me is how often the Saints just put tight ends on him. They just had tight ends block them one-on-one.
That's embarrassing.
And there was nothing they could do about it.
That is
like,
so bad.
There was a few times Bryce got past the tight end, but by the time he did it,
it's bad.
Yeah, for sure.
So are you okay with Vic cutting his snaps now?
Look, my logic for the snaps was always you got to give him a shot. But yeah, he's not doing it.
You got it.
But again, to my point, like nobody is besides Brandon Graham. Now, I will say Josh Sweat, I think, showed more.
I think he had a better game than the first.
He like almost got there. He like impacted.
Whoa,
Like
he did it.
Hey, it stood out but like, just think about that going into the game. The Saints were like, we can just double Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter, and we'll just put one tackle on Josh Sweat, and we'll just have the tight end and the running back essentially handle you don't, obviously this goes without saying, but you don't do that to Hassan Reddick. Like, you don't do that to Brandon Graham.
Absolutely. Well, they did it to Hassan Reddick, and he took Brock Purdy out of the playoffs,
right.
You know?
Or the plays where they did it to Brandon Graham. Brandon Graham made them pay for it big time. Brandon Graham, awesome.
Who would have thunk it?
Dude,
Brandon Graham, their best edge rusher, without a doubt. Also,
I know, this is where
Ruben Frank kind of like you talking to Ruben Frank, kind of implying maybe it won't be his last year. I mean, we've been Mr. Swansong. He said it 8 million times.
Well, I think what's really changed is I'm not saying he can ask for a blank check,
but he can ask for money.
But he can certainly have negotiating power because going it now. My guess is
now the one bit of leverage that he doesn't have is how he can be like, "Are you gonna go play for another team?" After all this,
that's true.
You said it was your last year in Philly. Are you going to go play for the Colts? I don't think so.
No, you're right.
You know what I mean?
You're right. He does have that.
Around like that.
But I do think
what a hilarious move if PG was like, screw it. I'm going to play. I'm going to go be a Panther.
I know. $9 million. Hey.
I would never fold
anyone.
I've
get your money
a million times. Such a finite window to get your money.
But the Eagles can't let it happen.
They can't let that happen.
Yeah, you can't let Brandon Graham play.
So I guess he has a little leverage.
That's the other side of that. The Eagles can't let Brandon play elsewhere. Like if he's getting $8 million somewhere, the Eagles want to get $4. But the overarching point is he's still really, really good. And now if the edges continue this way all season, clearly they will go to different edges next year. So he'll have that where maybe he's not guaranteed a roster spot. But he was really, really good. But the Bryce Huff thing is like
disaster. Honestly, it's probably the worst move Howie has made in years. Like he's had misses, but if you talk about the amount,
like high level misses,
of money, because like Carson, that's not a miss. They won the Super Bowl because of Carson,
right?
And like all that stuff.
Now I did pay him afterwards.
He did, which was a mistake. But again, he got out of that pretty quickly. Like Bryce Huff, he gave this dude $51 million, and he might never make it. I mean, I'm sure eventually, like something will happen. But like, there's a chance he is a lost player. So, like it is $51 million, or I guess 34 guarantee, whatever, to nothing.
Well, so there was the one play that really stood out to me. It was the first play of the game. The Saints come out, they run right at Bryce Huff, and he sets the edge, forcing Kamara to come back inside, and Nakobe gets him. And Bryce Huff celebrated that play.
I saw it. He like went nuts.
And I think it speaks so much to where he's at on so many levels. One, I think if you're the coaches, you like to see not only the play, but like he clearly really cared about that. Like he's like,
I've got to learn to set the edge.
He set the edge. It worked. And you could tell all week.
It was like he had a sack.
Exactly.
He had a sack.
Exactly.
I was like, what is going on right now?
And I think there's a level of like you admire that. Right? Like if your boss is telling you something all week.
He doesn't want to suck.
He doesn't want to suck. But it speaks to where he's at. That something as simple as setting the edge is such a big deal. Like
You're right. It's both good and bad. You're so
Right.
right.
So I think the problem the Eagles are going to run into is teams are just going to do everything they can to take Jalen Carter out. And it might not matter. He might be good enough to keep going, but somebody has got
to step up because
somebody has got to do something.
You can't rely on Jalen Carter just wrecking the game.
To your point, what Jason Kelce said on your show, Aaron Donald never did anything against the Eagles. Ever. Why? Because they just were like, you're not going to beat us.
Yeah, everyone else can beat us.
And the Eagles are going to run into that problem.
Yeah.
I don't know if they have anybody besides.
No, it's a concern. Again, it was great to see the D-line have the game they did in that spot, but we would be foolish to say, oh, everything's fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But like, it's still encouraging to see the Georgia guys. And
look, if Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter can be, a defensive player of the year candidate, which is he has in his bag.
Yeah.
And if Jordan Davis can be a above average
D- player,
defensive tackle, they might be all right on the defensive line. Like if you got that much pressure, that much ability on the inside, like you might be able to get by, but it's just not. It's not a classic recipe.
Well, and like I thought Milton Williams was really good.
I did too.
Moro Jama was really
good. I think Milton Williams has been consistently.
Their
solid.
defensive tackle spot actually might be okay.
Yeah,
it's just their edges are such a crater. That like
it's wild.
Yeah.
All right. We're gonna get to the Jalen Nick thing in a bit. Obviously, it's been a big.
I have a Nakobe thing
talking.
Too.
Oh my God.
I know.
God, I love him. All right, that is sack.
Oh,
Mike,
and Chauncey.
Look at you. You're just full of stuff here, aren't you? Yeah.
Watching tape.
Mike Quick, Seth Joyner, Jody Mack, Rob Ellis, Joe Conklin, and yes, us. What a list. Why are we on this?
What a roster.
I mean, it is superstar after superstar, and then us. Eliot Shorr-Parks, James Seltzer. We are the Bet Parks lineup. Bet Parks is the official sports book and online casino of Go Birds app. Go Birds Pod. It's the only sports book and online casino app that we use or recommend. The Birds hovering between 2 and 2.5 point favorites. We'll get the actual line on the Bet Parks Picks Pod where it's at, but I believe last I saw was 2.
It's a tough game to call.
It is. It is on the road at Tampa Bay. Revenge game.
Lots of injuries going on. Both sides.
We're gonna get to that.
Yeah.
16 players.
Wild
on
and
the
all
Tampa Bay. Yeah, on the Tampa. So yeah, it's like the Eagles. It's just top heavy injuries. It's like we got some serious.
They have like 4 of them.
4 of their like 8 best players or whatever.
Yeah.
But Tampa Bay, it's like their whole
half their
team.
roster.
So we're gonna get to that coming up. So a tricky game to bet, but you can also bet more than the score. You can bet player touchdowns, rushing and passing yards, sacks, interceptions, all the good stuff. Join us right now in the Bet Parks Sportsbook and online casino app. It's the only online casino and sportsbook app that we recommend. Bet Parks has your seat. How about this with a live dealer? All your classic favorite casino games. Bring your phone. You can be watching the game. Bang. Playing.
It's like watching the game with a dealer.
It's
a casino deal.
That's right. Yeah. You're exactly right. Not another kind of deal.
Yeah.
Bet on all your favorite sports. Of course, bet the Birds, pro football, college football. We're going to be picking all the games tomorrow on the Bet Parks Pick Pod. Make your downtime fun time. Download the Bet Parks app right now. And listen to this. You get to enjoy all the action, experiment for casino at your fingertips. Plus, you can play hundreds of exciting online slots. Check out the new Peaky Blinders slot game based on the TV show.
I always wanted to watch that show.
Yeah, I didn't. I mean, it looks fine. It looks good. It's nothing.
Yeah.
It's just I don't watch TV
show,
anymore.
Right?
It's like 18th on my list of things. Yeah, it's Tom Hardy.
Dude,
it's Cillian Murphy. It's a great cat. I would like to watch it someday. I just have so many shows that are
one of the most basic things about me is if you give me a show or movie with a British accent, I'm in.
You're in.
I immediately am more interested.
I'm big on British accents.
Yeah,
I think it's a good take by you.
Thanks.
Listen to this deal. New users, download the Bet Parks online casino app right now. You get up to $1,000 in casino bonus back if you're down in the first 24 hours. $1,000 casino bonus back. It's an amazing deal. Casino bonus must be wagered. See betparks.com for the details. You must be 21 and in PA, New Jersey, Michigan, Maryland, or Ohio. Gambling problem. Go on, Andrew Gambler.
All right. Well, look.
All right.
All right. I was not ready for the all right. The all right is
all right.
Yeah. So
all right.
We've talked about our buddies at Window Nation for over a year now.
Yes, we have.
And what's been cool about it is we've had so many different stories. Like one person, they got a free Jalen Hurts jersey. Another person,
well, not just that. Let's tell the real story. They were
going to get a
Dallas.
Dak
They were going to
jersey.
get a Dak jersey. They were like, "Hey, man, I'm an Eagles fan," and
gave him a Jalen Hurts jersey.
Window Nation was like, "No problem.
Yeah,
Jalen Hurts jersey.
We can't give you a Cowboys jersey."
How about that?
Another listener saved $10,000.
$10,000
by going from one window company that was clearly trying to screw him.
Oh my God!
Right? Like talk about trustworthy.
Like we always talk about. Like I just don't want to get screwed.
$10,000. That is
outrageous. It's outrageous.
And Window Nation came through and fixed his windows. They worked out great. Exactly what he wanted. $10,000 less. Mm-hmm. So if you're getting something done, you at least have to ask Window Nation because you could save $10,000.
Yes.
But we also have a news story.
That's right.
Feel good story, a Vicky level of story. Our buddy James.
That's me. I had a leak in my windows.
Yeah. As we've tried not to bother you about. But
yes, but
me and Emily have been trying to get you to do
get
this.
me to do
for
this.
Quite
I
a little
finally
bit of
set it
time.
up. Our guy Bill, remember Bill
Yes,
came
of
in,
course.
talked to us.
Came to your house.
Bill's freaking awesome. Came to my house, came in. This dude is so on top of his game. Like so let's be honest, him and Emily were having a conversation.
Yeah, you were
I was a
around.
bystander.
Yeah.
Listen, him and Emily were going. Emily's like, what about this? He's like, bang, this, bang, could be here.
Well,
figured out, we think it might be the roof. I don't know. But the beautiful thing is that he came and just handled it.
Well, it's like we said on a previous pod. I always find it so impressive to watch people that are great at their job.
Yes.
And like, look, windows, they're really important, not like a passion of mine, but like watching somebody be awesome at their job is really cool.
It was great.
Yeah.
And Bill was so awesome. Came to my house, got us all set up, figuring out what the issue is, where the leak's coming from. And again, this wasn't even like to sell me windows. He was here to help out because that's the type of people window.
Yes. And that is awesome to hear. And I actually wish I would have came over for this. I would have walked through with you.
It would have been cool.
I known. Yeah.
See our buddy Bill.
Exactly.
We talked little birds.
It's not just those three people that have had great stories. Obviously, you look at it, like they got 1 billion 5-star reviews. Everybody that we talk to has a great time with Window Nation. And that's because they stand behind their windows with a lifetime warranty. And also, all these great stories led to Window Nation being ranked highest on Forbes' list of best window installation companies. So you can trust Window Nation for high quality, affordable windows. Stop paying more than you have to, like our good friend that saved $10,000. Hurry up. They're having a sale. It is going to end, so you need to call and get all the details. Schedule a fast in-home estimate right now at 866-90Nation or windownation.com. And make sure you tell them, this time, tell them James sent you.
Oh!
Via Bill.
Go Birds.
Yeah.
Yeah, we saent you. All right.
No, I think James in this instance.
That's okay. It's nice.
It's
Tell him you heard about how great Bill is.
You should go in and say birthday boy sent me.
Birthday boy sent me.
They'll be like, whoa. What are you talking about?
What is
yeah.
Okay,
just order some windows.
This
buddy.
just got weird.
Yeah,
okay.
exactly.
All right. Let's talk some Nick and Jalen. We don't have to dive too deep into this. It's something we've talked a lot about, but it's been like,
well, where are you at?
One of the topics of conversation this week. Like in terms of where I'm at on what part of this.
I don't even know where to
begin. I think Jalen's improving. Like I think Jalen is heading in a good direction. We talked so much about the blitz this offseason. That was the biggest thing and blah, blah, blah. And he's been really good against it. Now I know he hasn't been as, and this week will be a big
test.
Awesome
against
it. But he's been awesome against it, especially for someone who's calling out the protections for the first time, doing all that stuff. I have been like the defensive line was my single biggest issue, obviously, but feeling better about that. The Nick thing, I think Nick has had a tough start to the year. Like I think that for the most part, he is trying to find his way in this quote unquote new role where like I think he's made some mistakes. Obviously, we've kind of battled back and forth on some of the fourth down calls. I think he is. I mean, the one at the end of the half, we talked about. I think it's
disagree with it.
Yeah,
I was not the decision I would have made.
It's up there with the worst decisions. I think it didn't like they won the game, but I think it's up there with the dumber decisions that he's made as an Eagles head coach. Now, I said this last pod, like I do think that we have seen him correct things as seasons have gone on. We all remember in 2021 the historic penalties and all that. They cleaned it up. He's been good at cleaning stuff up. So I expect him to get better and figure out the role. I just, like the whole like I called that play over Kellen is weird. Like it's like, and then undermines the whole answer by saying, hey, if it's a bad goal, I'm always going to take the blood.
Right.
Well, that's like submarining the point that you're like, now you're just saying, now we know that you're just sticking up for people. And if it's good, you're not going to say, like, it's like just making it all murkier and more confusing. Like, I think he's doing an okay job. I think people are on him a little more than they should be, but I think like, if you're asking me of the two, who do I think is off to a better start this season? I think it's definitely Jalen. And, I'm kind of like unsure of where this is going to go with that.
So, okay, a couple of things. One, with the Nick stuff, I do think it is a complicated situation that he has been playing.
I agree.
Right? So, and I think the Eagles deserve some blame for that. But like, I also think, and tell me if you agree with this, which obviously I assume you would do, but just wanted to make sure. Like, I think we're projecting onto Nick a little bit. Like, I don't think he's on the sideline floundering, trying to put his imprint on the team. I don't think he's trying to make more aggressive calls because he's not play calling now. So he's trying to put his imprint. I don't think he's jumping in any more or less than he used to. I think it's the same setup it's been with Kellen Moore as it was with Shane Steichen. Now, the Brian Johnson thing, there was only 1 year and it fell apart quickly. So it's hard to really compare that. But I think because it's such a big talking point as to like what does Nick do, it's hard to navigate for him and the team on the podium because like I don't think Nick jumping in and calling plays is a bad thing. I think he's done it before. Now, to your point, are we going to get to like every press conference? It's like, did you call this one? Did you call that one? Like, you don't want to go down that road.
And I also think he's like you stepping in and taking the blame for something is accountable, and I respect it. But then when you say I'm always going to step in when it's a bad situation, like that undermines it.
Or the week before against Atlanta, where he said, "Well, Kellen called that."
Yeah,
like we can't get into like you called this. You can't say it's collaborative, and then. But I think that it's well intentioned.
And look, I think that if 31 other NFL coaches, if we found out that they overruled something, it'd be like, all right, they're that coach. Like, I get it.
But it's
just a unique situation here with how that and last year the whole thing with the Kellen Moore stuff. It's just unique. It's
but different. I just don't.
I mean, like Kyle Shanahan stepped in and overruled the defensive coordinator's call.
Yeah, right. But I don't think it's unique inside the building. Is what I'm saying. I feel like we're all so obsessed with it that they have to answer to it publicly, and it's hard to navigate. But I don't get the sense in the building there's any like tension. Like I think Nick and Kellen are really good friends. Like, so I don't think that when Nick jumps in, it's like this big moment and everyone in the coaching staff is like, whoa, Nick's jumping in. Like, I don't think it's like that. But
no, but it is for us.
That's what I'm saying.
But he's got to be aware of that. Like as an organization, they have to like messaging matters.
Yes, I agree with
we talked about this all at the end of last year, and it's a tricky spot.
Yes, but I guess what I'm saying is I think there's a difference between when evaluating the job Nick's doing. And look, you had Jason Kelsey on the morning show, and I trust what Jason says. I know he's not going to be as negative publicly, but you look like since Nick's been here, I think he's been pretty good with situational. There's been times where I've disagreed with stuff.
I think he was great at it in 21 and 22, particularly 2022. I thought he was elite at it. I thought he was so at it last year, more good than bad, but so
a lot after games.
Yeah, and I think this year he's been bad so far.
Well, let me ask you this.
And maybe that's the role and all that. Again, I'm not saying he's going to be bad. I believe that he can do it. I've seen him do it. And overall, I do like my gut instinct is he's not bad at it, but he has been bad this year. And it just seems he seems confused in these games. He seems like unsure. So I
just don't get that vibe. But let me ask you this, because I was thinking about this yesterday. In 2022, and the website doesn't do it anymore, but I think it was 538 tracked how much a coach's decision making added win probability to their team.
I bet you Nick was high.
Nick was number one.
I thought he was great at it in 2022, but we've not seen that.
Let me ask you this:
it's the same thing with Jalen. Jalen has never been the guy he was in 2022 yet.
But maybe that's just it. Like maybe he is making decisions the same way. And this falls on him, but the team isn't executing, so the decisions look worse. Like if the fake tush push works.
But it's all about what you feel in the moment. Like I hated it in the moment. We got to be real.
The fake tush push, I agree. But the rest of them, like, I don't know.
I would have taken the points early. Like I feel like
but he wouldn't have in 2022.
It was 4th and 4. Yes, he would have.
I don't think he would have.
Is different than 4th and 2. Like
he's gone for.
I think it was a mistake regardless. And I'm fine going on 4th. I think you should go more often than not. In that spot, I would have taken the points. And again, I think every game is different. Every situation is different. Like the chart isn't just like, well, it's 4th and 3 in the third quarter. We got to go for it. Like it shouldn't be that.
And I like that Nick views it that way.
I agree. I just think he's done a bad job at it this year.
But
I agree with you.
But how much of that? But how? I guess where I deviate from you a little bit is it feels like he's calling things like he used to.
No, I mean I've been doing notes in the moment. What would I do in the moment? And I have disagreed with a fair amount of his decisions, regardless of the outcome.
Yeah, I haven't as much. Like, again, the end of the first half, I would have taken the field goal. The beginning of the third quarter, I think you could have talked me into taking the field goal, but I don't think that was an egregious thing. Like, I would have kicked it probably because I think you'd take the points, but I didn't think it was, like, egregious. So when I look at, like, the Nick versus Jalen thing, Jalen just matters more.
Well, sure, of course.
So
coaching matters too.
No, it does.
I mean, like, there's a reason Sam Darnold's playing well. There's
for sure.
Like coaching matters
for sure. Now, I think we can all agree the whole Nick's not going to impact the season thing.
Oh, that was
we did all agree on that. But if I look at Nick and Jalen and like why I think this team now, again, they could be 3-1 going into the bye, but like Jalen's interceptions are more worrisome to me.
All right, quickly, Nakobe, and then we got to get the final thoughts.
Well, let's just go to Chauncey.
Okay, because we don't have a ton of time for your next pod coming up and all that.
So Chauncey, I got to give him credit.
Oh, like not expecting this.
He was really good. It was like the Chauncey experience against the Saints.
All over the place.
He was all over the place. He was like hustling he was like in people's faces after the play. He had another big run stop. Now he did give up the touchdown to Olave, so it was the full Chauncey experience. But when the Eagles signed Chauncey, I think that's the game they had in mind. Like, again, much like Jalen Carter, there were so many times I was watching snaps from other players, and Chauncey was the one that caught my eye. Whether it was
love this, because you have been pretty open about not being a huge fan of Chauncey as a player,
right?
So.
And it was like he's so much better in the box than he is deep. He's just so much better. But when he plays that type of game where he's coming downhill, like he's not a great tackler, but when he hits people, he does hit like them hard. And so I thought it was a really good Chauncey game.
Yeah, and definitely talked after as well. And I agree with him. I was happy. I would look, normally I'm like, CJ, shut up, man. Like I think he talks too much. And it's like the kind of like the Darius Slay thing where it's like when we're winning, it's like, oh, this is fun. When we're losing, it's like, I don't want to hear from you. I think he might have gone too far with it, but I appreciate, you're saying if you see the Saints again, that's bulletin board and all that stuff. But I did think it was a really dirty play, and I don't think that it got enough.
You're talking about
the Devontae play that CJ was so upset about.
I always hesitate to call things dirty. I think it was a bad hit for sure. I don't think
regardless. I think CJ went too far with it, but I appreciated that someone stood up and said it because it did feel like it didn't get enough credit. All right, let's get to final thoughts.
You want to go first?
Sure, I can do my 90s thing. Oh, and I'll play the Zoe thing. But here, all right, here, let me do this. I'll do my 90s thing. You do yours, and then I'll get the Zoe thing right. All right. Okay. This has been an odyssey trying to decide this 90s thing. I spent more time trying to pick the 90s one than all the others combined because I care so much about it. Like, I feel this is like...
Didn't you do the 90s?
No.
Okay.
No.
What year did we do the 2000s?
You did the 2000s.
Okay.
So this is the 90s. It's the most important one. I mean, the list of... Just let me say real quick, like... So I know there's a big, like, back in your day thing, and I get that. Emily always gives me crap. Right. I'll be like, oh, this is better than that. And she'll be like, that's because you grew up with it. You love it. Like, come on.
It's like music.
We all do this.
For sure.
Like, movies in the 90s were better. Like, I am sorry. Like, it has nothing to do with that was my formative years and all that. Like, movies in the 90s were better than movies in the 80s. They're better movies in the 2000s, the 2010s, the 2020s. It's not even comparable. Like, the list of movies that, like, I could do 2 top 5s from the 90s that are better than any of the things from the 2000s or whatever. And
let's hear.
The 80s are a little...
I'm open to having this opinion.
Okay. So, quickly, there are movies that I think... Again, this is my list, right?
Right.
Like if they did a best movies of the 90s, like Schindler's List would be on it. I understand that. Like Schindler's List, one of the great movies of all time.
I haven't seen
it. I'm sure you have.
Right.
I'm not surprised. But it is, heavy and it is a great movie, but it's not on my favorite what I mean? So I'm just putting it out there. Hoops Dreams, by the way, was one of my great movies of all time. I'm not putting it on the list for that reason, but I want to say it is worthy of the list. I stand by what I said a month or whatever ago when I saw it. It's one of the great movies I've ever seen. Here's my list. And it's so many movies I wished I could have, like...
10 Things I Hate About You on there?
No.
Can't Hardly Wait?
No.
Those are great movies.
So I've got 4 locked in, and then my 5th I've gone back. I've decided on it, but I just want to there are clear top 4 for me personally in terms of what I love, the movies that are important, what mattered, all that. I think Pulp Fiction, The Matrix, Jurassic Park, and Silence of the Lambs have to be on the list. I think they all have to be. I would agree. So important. They're all great, but also they're 4 of my 10 favorite movies of all time.
What about National Lampoon's Vacation?
Not quite there. It's also from 1980.
All right. Well, that's got to be on your 80s list.
All right. So the last spot for me came down to a choice between 5 movies.
Okay. My final thought is
Terminator 2, Shawshank Redemption, Goodfellas, A Few Good Men, and The Usual Suspects. I think
it's got to be Shawshank.
So I acknowledge that if people were making the list, most people, it would be Goodfellas. I think Goodfellas would be on most people's list.
Screw Goodfellas.
I love Goodfellas. It's in my... Relax on that.
Same as all these other
movies. Goodfellas is great. But I agree. T2, I think, probably would be on some list. I'm not going to put it on. I do think it's meaningful. Same with A Few Good Men. For me, it comes down to Shawshank and Usual Suspects. Usual Suspects is one of my 5 favorite movies of all time. Shawshank is one of my top 10. So, I like Usual Suspects more than I like Shawshank.
You have to go.
I think it has to be Shawshank.
I agree, but
Shawshank's one of my 10 favorite movies of all time. This is not like I'm going off the deep end here. I think it is the correct... I'm trying to balance my list with, it being representative of the 90s and what people love. So I will put Shawshank 5th, Usual Suspects 6th, but I love The Usual Suspects.
I think a clear flaw in your list is, what about The Lion King?
Lion King's on my list.
Or Toy Story, which is the biggest.
So Toy Story, I mentioned Toy. So I have a whole thing of Unforgiven, The Fugitive, Heat, Total Recall, Talented Mr. Ripley, Dazed and Confused, Forrest Gump, Toy Story, 7, Resurrection. These are so many movies I consider. Boogie Nights, Saving Private Ryan was in there. Good Will Hunting's in there. Groundhog Day's in there. Truman Show. I know you love that.
Yeah.
Fargo.
Liar.
Lion King's on there. No, it's not. Dumb and Dumber I put on the list.
Liar's a great movie.
Yeah, it's not one of the best movies of the 90s.
No, but I would say
Liar
it's
is
just as good as
it's the fourth best Jim Carrey movie.
But it is a great movie.
Dumb and Dumber is absolutely better.
Dumb and Dumber is more popular. I don't think it's better.
It's not even comparable.
Wow.
It is.
You watched
light
Liar
years.
Liar recently?
I watched it within the last year because a podcast I like did a pod about it.
Very good.
So I watched it just for that reason. It's fine. It is actually, I think, a little over it. Anyway, that's my final list. I'm sticking to it. Pulp Fiction, The Matrix, Jurassic Park, Silence of the Lambs, and Shawshank Redemption. No particular order.
All right. So I almost feel like an idiot having my final thought after that in-depth list because it's such like a simple thought. But I think it's one I bet you and Tucker have never thought of.
Oh.
All right. Think about this. Mm-hmm. Think about how there is no professional sports team just named the Dogs. The Dog's the most popular animal ever. We have so many variations of it, right? There's not just the Dogs.
I mean, there's Georgia Bulldogs.
Bulldog, for what it's worth.
Yeah, Yale, like there are others.
Right.
No pro teams.
Pro teams? Not one. No one's taken the Dogs. It would be the best mascot. The gear would be awesome.
Elliot, this is a great final.
Right? Like, how crazy is that? Not one team. Like, honestly, I could see not being the Cats,
like
but
the
like
Philadelphia Dogs.
Yeah.
Elliot.
Would it be AWGS?
No, I think you gotta go Dogs.
You gotta go Dogs.
Yeah,
just
Dogs,
like
the
dogs.
real words. Elliot, bravo.
Right? Thank you.
Yes.
Wild. It's the most popular animal in the world by a mile. And like, yeah, thank you.
It's a really phenomenal job. I'm dead serious.
Right? Imagine like the hat. Like it would.
Elliot, it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
I got nothing else to say. You did.
Now I guess you'd have to pick a breed of dog.
You could just do the Dogs.
Well, your mascot.
For the mascot, but it could be a whatever.
What if the mascot was a collection of breeds?
Oh,
like sewed together.
I love it.
That might be terrifying.
Like a Superman.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I like this. Like a human centipede, but with dogs. What? No? Okay.
Dogs.
Great stuff. All right. Now we'll end with a little.
Should we leave with this? Should we like say bye and then play it?
Oh, I like this. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Until then.
He's Elliot James.
Exactly what you think of when you think of cute birthday.
I love the hooray. It's so good. All right, let's do the Bet Parks Fix on. Hey, hello. It is the Go Birds podcast presented by the Bet Parks Casino and Sportsbook app. Eliot Shorr-Parks, James Seltzer with you. It's the Bet Park Picks Pod, the Bet Parks Picks Pod.
Which, by the way,
favorite pod of the week.
The victorious.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes,
let's not bury the lead.
Yes.
There.
All right. Yeah. You know what? We freaking hit our parlay.
We hit our parlay.
No
big deal to us.
We're already at plus 600. No big deal.
No big deal to us. We hit the parlay. And
shout out, by the way, because we had 2 easy wins in the parlay. Shout out to the freaking Rams. Let me tell you. I looked up because Elliot will usually text me and be like, "What was our parlay?"
Right.
And this time you didn't because I guess you're busy. Whatever's going on. So I guess it was 1:00 game. First time we had that. Whatever this season. So I'm going through and I'm like, it's like 14-0 Niners or whatever. And I knew what the parlay was. And I'm like, it's going to be such a bummer when Elliot texts me and asks me. And then they did the whole thing happens. They come back. I send you the thing. I'm like, go Bills.
Yeah.
And then the Bills, like, we knew we won like a quarter into the football game.
Well, it is exciting. Like, it is sometimes it sucks a little to have your parlay involved Thursday or Monday. If you go into Monday night,
it's amazing.
Yeah.
It is what a thrill that was.
Yes. Unbelievable.
Yeah. Bills.
Yeah.
Bills.
How about it? Yeah. So that was very exciting.
Josh Allen, number 2. Are you with me on that, by the way? Remember when I said that? Josh Allen, number 2 after Patrick Mahomes. Are you there?
Yeah, I think he's definitely
clearly, right?
And I think if there was a draft,
it's like clearly right now, it's Josh Allen. Yeah. For today. Now, I'm not saying moving forward, but right now, Josh Allen.
I feel like last year we hit our parlay in week 3.
I think
I'd have to go back and look,
I think it was week 2 last.
Yeah, it was early. So let's try not to win.
For us, it's week 2, really, because we didn't do a parlay.
True, good point. So let's try
to
we're
1 for 2.
Lose every single parlay.
No, we're gonna win. No, this is it. I honestly, I think. How about this? I think we have a better chance to win every parlay than lose every parlay.
So
that's where I'm at right now.
Overall, last week, do you want to hear how we did?
So I did pretty well.
Yeah, you did, but not as good as me.
Wait, I thought I went 10-6 last week.
Oh yeah, you went 10-6. I went 8-8.
Yeah,
I was misreading. Shout out to Stokes and Ned.
Yeah, shout out to Stokes and Ned. We were just joking around, guys.
Don't
worry, we love you. You are amazing at.
Yeah.
No, I don't feel bad. I was just joking with you guys. You guys are amazing at this.
He does say happy birthday, by the way.
I love.
I know neither of us checked our DM.
Great job. Can I real quick? Oh, that's a good call.
I'm ahead
on the
wait.
There's so many tweets. Everyone, you're so kind. Wishing me happy birthday. Thank you. I wish I could respond to everyone.
You just can't.
I won't.
You
I
just-
can't.
you
I
just
can't. I hate even opening
too
the
many.
app. So thank you to everyone. You're amazing. Like the most wonderful humans alive are all of you.
So
And if you didn't wish me a happy birthday, I hate you. No,
there it is. So you're beating me on the season. By the
I
way.
know, and that's not even including my 10-6, 11-5, whatever week one. That
Yeah.
doesn't count.
I don't think I'll ever beat you in this. This is what it is. It's been 3 years. I don't think I will. It's just I'm fine with second. Or last, depending how you look at it. Second place sounds way better than last.
Yeah,
Out
second
of 2.
place is much
Yeah.
better. All right, should we get into picks?
Yeah.
By the way, reminder: I love to do teases in podcasts like it's radio, but my final thought for this pod is just outrageous. So
all right, can't wait.
it is. I can't believe I actually thought of it and then actually thought I'm gonna say this into a mic.
Nice. All right.
That's what's
Well, it's
Pretty
go
good
ahead.
tease, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's dive in. Tonight, I guess this is one of the classic. We're gonna do it. This
Yeah,
pod will
you'll
come
hear
out
it
on
tomorrow.
Friday, so we're doing this on Thursday for those who know. Cowboys and Giants. Like to guess?
Ew. I mean, always a fun matchup, but ew.
It's totally.
Where is it in New York?
New York.
Cowboys -4.
Close, 5.5.
Almost went higher.
Mhm.
Didn't. I don't think the Cowboys suck. I feel like that's been a talking point. I don't think they're gonna win the Super Bowl. Obviously, I don't think they're a threat, but I think that you're gonna have to win 10 games to win the division. For what it's worth, I don't think it's gonna be like 9 and 8 wins. Like I think,
I would agree with that.
yeah.
I think Washington will get to 9 wins. I agree.
Okay, yeah. I'm excited to talk about them.
Yeah.
I'm picking the Cowboys. Like, come on.
I'm gonna take the points.
Ugh,
Thursday
the
night.
Giants.
Yeah.
I saw a pretty upsetting stat that if you look, I think it's either
I mean, the Giants should have been Washington. They just didn't have a kicker. Like,
if
they
you
should have
look
won that
this
game.
year, Daniel Jones has better numbers than Jalen.
I saw that. I don't believe that though.
All right,
It
fair.
makes better numbers. Jalen's 4th league in passing yards, so he's ahead of him there.
Yeah, I'm just letting you know what I saw on Twitter.
Yeah. Well, Twitter is an
I'm just
ugly
letting you
place.
know.
So you
It
shouldn't
is.
spend your
Yeah.
time. All right. How about the Andy Dalton game? The Bengals at the
Dude.
Panthers.
You ready for this?
How about that? How about poor Bryce Young? Like, just what a
It really is the Nick Foles.
yeah. I mean,
all
it's
over
just
again.
like you are the worst team in the league for 2 weeks, just an absolute disaster. And then the
And he
dude
put
comes
up
in and puts like 36 points. Like,
Well, I think no matter how good of a person Bryce Young is, I'm sure he's handling it great and all that. It has to just be demoralizing.
it has to be
You can be the best, most least selfish person in the world. There is no way you're in that locker room watching everybody cheer. And
honestly,
you're not
there's
like,
an argument. Like, if Bryce Young had said, you know what, I quit.
yeah,
Like,
I
I
would
would've
be
been
like,
like, I get
honestly,
it.
man, I get
I
it.
totally get it.
Yeah,
You already got millions. You're the first pick of the draft.
he
Take
should
your money.
really ask to be traded.
I
Like,
know.
I'm not like in a bad way, but he should.
Yeah.
You should ask.
It's bad. Andy Dalton.
Would you give up a 7th if you were the Eagles?
No.
No.
I told you I'm out on Bryce. I'm fully out. Like
Yeah,
he is too small.
a 7th.
No, I do not want Bryce Young as my backup quarterback.
Okay,
Is my point.
that's
Like, I think he is too small to play in the NFL.
I'd be interested
Let's
to see
put
him
it
in
this
real
way.
life.
I might rather have Kenny Pickett. I might rather.
And
have
you
Kenny.
talk about
You know,
Oh,
that's right. Did you
hands,
see how I
too.
paused there and I stopped?
Yeah.
I'm like, but I might like that. I think Bryce Young is a lost cause.
all right. The line, who they play, the Bengals in Cincinnati, the
Mhm.
0-3 Bengals. Bengals -5.5.
4. It's so funny that they
Ooh,
converted. You were
I
at
know.
5.5.
Yeah, I know. I'm taking the Bengals.
I am too. They're not going on 4. They're going to win the game. I feel like they'll win by more than 4. If nothing else,
It'd be
I
fun to
can't.
put the Panthers in the parlay.
Love how you go.
It would, but
Yeah.
like I'm gonna take the Bengals.
All right, Broncos at Jets.
Jets -6.
7.5.
I'm gonna take the Jets. Actually, I take it back. I'm gonna take the Broncos. I don't think the Jets have it in them. Like, they did just blow a team out. No, I'm gonna take the Jets.
So
Final decision.
I think I'm going to take the Jets too. If the Broncos had not had the upset win last week,
Right
and
now
kinda
they're
looked
probably
frisky,
flying high.
or 2 weeks ago, I guess they lost. Yeah, because they lost to the Panthers or the
They
Steelers.
beat
Then
the
they
Bucs last week.
beat the Bucs. They whooped the Bucs.
Right.
They have to go on the road to New York for a 1:00 game. I'm going to lay the points of the Jets, but I agree with you. I don't feel great about it. It's not a parlay.
Yeah.
All right, Jags at Texans. Doug's last
Yeah,
stand.
Doug's last stand. I can't wait for offensive coordinator / assistant Doug Peterson with the Eagles this year. When he comes in just to help.
Would you?
No.
You wouldn't if Doug just like as a consultant, like in the
I just don't
building.
want to mess. Like I just think
Yeah, I think there's
you're
too
in
much.
season.
Yeah.
Like it's not an anti-Doug thing, but you don't want to mess up the vibe that's going on. Because I think somehow the vibes are good. All right. I'm gonna go Texans -6.5.
Very good.
All right. I'm gonna take the Texans. Texans have lost 2 in a row, haven't they? Or
No,
like,
Texans are 2-1.
Okay, so I guess they've
Texans.
lost
I
one
mean,
in a
Texans
row.
can basically clinch the division here. I believe.
Yeah.
Could be wrong
For
about
real.
that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take the points
Okay.
because
I don't think that's a bad.
yeah, I think I would still pick Houston to win. I think this is it. Like if Doug and Trevor Lawrence are going to do anything, like they're gonna fight in this game. I think the Jaguars fight. So I'll take the points. I think it's like a 3-point game. All right, Rams and Bears. Frisky Rams.
Yeah. Frisky Bears.
It's a disappointing Bears, I would say, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
It's got to sting for Bears fans to watch Jaden Daniels.
Oh, there's a lot of
has to.
Well,
I'm still in on Caleb Williams.
Oh yeah, but the funniest thing is like the whole draft. He gets picked like Caleb Williams going into the perfect situation.
Yep,
He's got all these shit. And like, oh, poor Jane Daniels. And now everyone's like, Jane Daniels in the perfect situation.
Yeah, I know.
Like, come on.
I
Like,
know.
are you kidding me? Like, I almost cursed there, Tucker. So I did. I was like, are you
Rams
me?
and Bears
Rams.
in Chicago?
Yeah, well, that's what at me.
No, I know. I just confirming you were paying attention.
Yeah, I'm paying attention.
Okay. Rams minus. They're pretty banged up though. Rams -2.
Bears -2.5.
I'm gonna take the Bears.
I'm gonna take the Rams on the road.
I would have liked to parlay.
McVay. I'm just gonna bet on McVay. I think.
Aren't they missing like Cooper Kupp and all these?
They were, and they beat the Niners. I think that. I mean, the Bears are missing Keenan Allen.
Yeah, it's fair.
I think that Eberflus is the worst coach in that.
Yeah.
I think he's like the number one worst. Also, like, and who knows with Nick? Like, we'll see with Nick. But Nick is an offensive coordinator. I think Nick's a better head coach than an offensive guy. Like, how the Colts team had Eberflus as their defensive coordinator and Sirianni as their offensive coordinator.
You know, it'd be an interesting one. Like, if Nick ggets fired at the end of the year, if he gets a job, that'd be an interesting spot for him.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, Eberflus is going to get fired. Like, if they don't make the playoffs, like Eberflus is a disaster. And that's not his call. I guess the offensive coordinator's call. Shane Waldron, who everyone was excited about. I think it was Shane Waldron. That fourth down call that went around. Sometimes I'm like, oh, this is the worst you'll ever see of this. Right. It's like, come on. Like, that might be the worst fourth down call I've ever seen.
Well, so what's interesting is Kelsey brought this up. I think it was Kelsey. It was either him or Ross Tucker, two football guys. And they were saying, like, if you look around the league at the decisions other coaches are making, Nick looks a lot better.
That's certainly possible. That was the worst one I've seen, like play call. All right. So I took the Rams, you took the Bears. Viking. This is a fun game. This is one of the more fun games of the weekend. Yes, it's football. Good point. Vikings at the Packers. The undefeated Vikings.
That's a good one.
Does look like
Malik
Jordan
Willis, Sam Darnold.
Jordan.
Oh, he's going to play.
Yeah, Jordan, so he's limited in practice, but they're it's not definite. But it seemed like a lot of people thought they held him out last week to make sure he's good for this week. We'll see.
Before I even hear the line, I'm taking the Vikings.
Wow.
Jordan Love's first game back. Sam Darnold's playing awesome. I'm going to guess the line, though, is Vikings -1.5.
So the line implies that Jordan Love's going to play. The Packers are a 2.5-point favorite. I'm going to take the Packers.
I'm taking the Vikings.
Yeah, I just don't see the Vikings going 4-0. And also, Darnold banged up. He's going to play, but he is banged up coming off that last game.
Your point about 4-0 is compelling, but
it's not really that compelling. It's actually frivolous.
I mean, it makes no sense,
silly,
but it is convincing.
But it's how I feel.
Yeah.
And I do think the Packers are good.
Well,
I mean, look, the Packers won 2 Malik Willis games. Like,
I mean,
give
you
them a
kept
little
saying
credit.
the Saints going to go 3-0.
Huh?
Like, I mean,
I know.
think
You're right. That was
a level. There is some truth to that.
No, you're right. You're right. There is. All right. Funny. Speaking about the Saints, that's our next game. Saints at the Falcons.
All kinds of banged up, by the way.
Yeah. But yeah. And that is something. And Joe Wachter said this to me, so I'll throw Joe under the bus with this one. But he did say with the Jalen Carter game that we didn't talk about, he's like, Saints did lose their starting center
fair.
super early in the game,
Jalen
right?
Carter did what he's supposed to do.
Yeah, agree. And that's why I was like, come on, man, don't be such a bummer.
No,
but it was a point that we have not talked about much. But that guy's a good player, and they lost him.
Now, Bryce Huff got against tight ends, so I think we can.
Do you think we'll see Bryce Huff? They'll just be like, we don't block him. Like,
it's not that far away. Saints at
Falcons.
Okay, right. In Atlanta, obviously.
In Atlanta.
Falcons -2.5.
Yes.
All right. You helped a little, but still, I was pretty much there. Yeah.
Falcons -2.5.
I'll take the Falcons.
I will too, actually. I think the Saints coming off the loss, banged up in Atlanta. I think this is going to be a close division.
I think the Falcons have been impressive this year.
They've been solid.
They're better than their record.
I thought they played the Chiefs pretty tough.
Yeah.
All right. Should we save the Eagles game for last?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know who I'm picking yet, though.
Don't let me forget it.
Okay. Deal. I'm letting you right now. Well, go ahead.
All right. So we have one more 1 o'clock in addition to the Eagles. Steelers at Colts. Steelers. How about this?
Justin Fields.
Who'd have thunk Where obviously Kansas City, sure.
Right.
But the other 2 3-0 teams being the Vikings and
I know.
and the Steelers, like what?
Yeah.
Those are the only 3 3-0
Dude, I
teams,
heard
right?
Howard
Tuck, is that right?
Howard
3
saying
3-0 teams.
on your show this
Yes.
morning, the Chiefs aren't a great team. The Chiefs are a great team.
Well, so
I get his point.
I've said this to you. I don't think there are any great teams in the NFL right now. But in terms of like, yes, the Chiefs are a great organization.
Yeah, they have a great head coach,
and
a
to
great
point, they have
quarterback,
Mahomes
and
and Reed, so they're always great
Yeah.
from that perspective. But they're 5 3-0 teams?
Yeah.
Hold on. Who are we missing? Let me figure this out. Vikings, we got
Yep.
Chiefs.
Yep.
Steelers.
Yep.
Oh, I actually know who it is.
Oh, the Seahawks.
Yeah, which is
And-
why.
Yeah. And one more. Who was the other one? So the Seahawks are undefeated. And it's great radio or podcasting.
Not the Lions. It's not the.
Oh, the
Niners.
Bills. My
yeah.
Bills.
Okay,
that we
your
talked about. I
Bills,
should have
yeah.
thought about that sooner. Thank you.
Sorry. What's this game again? We're doing now.
We're doing the Steelers at the Colts.
Okay. Steelers -5.
Only 1.5.
Wow,
I
I
don't
got
know
that one
why.
wrong.
So I came in.
I mean,
Like,
they're
I
on the
love the
road.
Steelers in this game,
Yeah.
but like this is a Colts line.
Yeah, it is. I'm gonna take Steelers.
I'm gonna follow the line.
I just don't think Anthony Richardson is beating a Mike Thomas.
I don't
defense.
either. I'm
Yeah.
gonna take the Colts.
All right.
Don't
fair
feel
enough.
good about
Look,
it at all.
You're reading the lines. That's the way
Yes.
to do it.
Yeah. All right. Patriots and the Niners. Oh, I'm sorry. Quickly, if you're listening to this, download the Bet Parks.
Which they are if you're hearing that.
Yeah. What a good point.
Here, if you're listening,
Wow.
nobody that heard that is
What
not
a
listening.
ridiculous
Not a
thing. Thank
single
you for
person.
pointing out. That was a really ridiculous thing. Hey, people listening, download the Bet Parks Casino and Sportsbook app. Seriously. I mean, listen to this list. Mike Quick, Seth Joyner, Joni Mack, Rob Ellis, Joe Conklin, and us. Eliot Shorr-Parks, James Seltzer.
Yeah.
We're the Bet Parks lineup. Don't you want to be a part of that lineup? Don't you want to be involved in that lineup? Be, friends. I would say friends.
Friends.
If you download the Bet Parks app and use it, we're friends.
Your friend.
That's the way I look at it. Bet Parks, the official
Unless
online.
you're mean.
Yeah, then we don't like it.
Yeah.
But
But I think most parts-
Still bet.
Yeah.
Still bet. Official sportsbook and online casino. The Go Birds podcast, the only one that we use that we recommend tomorrow. This weekend. The Birds, 2-point favorite between 2 and 2.5. We, as of today, it is at 2. That's what we'll be making picks on.
guessing that line perfectly well.
2.
then.
Nailed
That'll
it.
be one win for me.
At Tampa Bay, but you can bet more than the score because it is a tough game to read. Bet more than the score. Bet player TEs, rushing, passing yards, sacks, interceptions, so much more. Join us right now on the Parks Sportsbook and online casino. It's the only one that we recommend, as I said. Plus, maybe bet our parlay with us because we are hitting at a 50% rate.
Yeah,
Think about
exactly. That's a
that,
good point.
you
And when
know?
it's plus 700,
And it's usually plus
50%,
600,
you're
plus
making-
700,
you're
plus
making
500.
money.
But I mean, you're making lots of money
You're
in
up
that
big
case.
now,
So
yeah.
no big deal to us. You can bet on all your favorite sports: football, pro football, college football, stuff, plus live dealer, blackjack, craps, roulette, and so much more. You can do it while you're watching the game. Download the Bet Parks app right now and enjoy all the action and excitement from the casino at your fingertips. Plus, play hundreds of exciting slot games, online slot games. Check out the new Peaky Blinders slot game based on the TV show. I would think people
That we want to watch.
would assume that. It'd be
Yeah.
weird if it's like the Peaky Blinders. No
Coincidentally,
connection.
My guess is Peaky Blinders wouldn't be okay with that.
Probably
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
New users, download the Bet Parks online casino app and sportsbook app and get up to $1,000. Yes, $1,000 in casino bonus back if you're down in the first 24 hours. Casino bonus must be wagered. See betparks.com for the terms and conditions. You must be 21 in PA, New Jersey, Michigan, Maryland, Ohio. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Elliot.
Yes.
I just want to say happy birthday to James.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
What a former boss.
Like asking.
Here we go. Yeah. Yeah. Here we go.
See, I
Yes.
complimented for
Here
him,
we
look, and
go.
you went
Yeah,
right at him. I
yeah.
like this. He does like to wear white. It is a thing. He's
It makes me look tan.
a
Yeah. You have a
Thanks,
white
buddy.
shirt on too.
Love you, Spike.
It is different. Okay. It's different. All right.
All right. That was great. Let's
Yeah.
get back to the great Spike asking.
The
Listen to
great
the
Spike
afternoon
asking.
show on WIP or the morning show or the midday show.
Yeah.
All of them. Any show that Elliot's on, aka all shows around the
Yeah.
clock.
He was
nonstop.
excited to be on a big podcast.
Yeah. It was probably.
Oh,
That's a good point.
Tucker.
Well done.
Tucker. Line of the day.
There it is.
Line of the day.
Cut that audio.
Now they'll play that on the afternoon show like incessantly, I'm sure. All right, let's keep it rolling. Patriots at the Niners.
Patriots at the Niners. Niners -7.
10.
Whew.
Right?
I'm taking the Niners.
So I was going to take the Patriots, but I feel like with that line, I have to take Niners. Like
Yeah,
that
you
is,
don't think it's a line where they want people to bet the take the points?
I think they want people to take the Patriots. Like I think this
Yeah,
is
so
a
I'm taking the
Niners.
Niners.
No, this is a Niners line. That's what I'm saying. It's a Niners line.
Yeah, that's why I'm taking the Niners.
I am agreeing
Oh,
with
I thought you
you.
said you were taking the points.
No, I'm laying the points.
Oh, okay. I think you
because
said
it's so many points. This
All
feels
right.
like an iron sign. I think they come out and whoop up on the Patriots. All right. Commanders at the Cardinals, aforementioned Jane Daniels.
Dude, Jane Daniels, that throw was unbelievable.
He was great. They haven't punted in 2 games.
He doesn't have an interception.
Yeah, he's been great. Now, here's all I'll say.
Ups and downs, flows.
And also just like RG3. You know, like
right.
We all felt this way about RG3 and then he got hurt. Like
I just look, we're not saying but
Jane Daniels is really fun to watch. He's very talented. He is really slight. I get nervous.
Yeah.
And he, as evidenced by that throw, and credit him.
He takes hits.
He takes hits. So, like, I love the guy. I think he's awesome. It's terrifying that Washington might have a quarterback. I'm just not like, they've got their quarterback for the next 20 years.
Yes, you can never say that. But for this year, it looks like it's a potential problem.
Which is what I said to you. I was like, this is the one to bet on if you're going to bet on the long odds.
You're right.
I know. All right.
Say it again, Washington.
At Arizona, 2 fun, frisky offenses.
2 good
This could
teams.
be like 55-40.
Yeah. Well, Gannon's defense, so I'm guessing he'll have something ready for Daniels.
They have one of the worst defenses in football, Elliot.
Personnel.
Yeah.
Washington. No, actually.
In Arizona.
Yeah. Cardinals -3.5. Oh, there we go. There we go.
The excitement I get when you nail them. It's
yeah.
a good thrill.
It's got to be wild to experience.
I'm going to take Arizona. It feels like an Arizona line.
I am too.
Yeah. All right. Let's keep it rolling. I like Arizona. They're frisky.
Gannon against a rookie
I'm a
quarterback.
big Gannon believer. Always have been. Yeah, right.
Always will be.
That's right. Cleveland at the Raiders. Ew. Don't watch this. Don't bet on it.
Football's fun, but
this is an all-time stay away game.
Ugh, Cleveland -2.
Almost. It's the Raiders -2, actually.
Oh, not that close. I picked the right number.
Yeah, I'll take the Raiders. It feels like a Raiders
Yeah,
line.
I'm fine with that.
All right. The Chiefs at the Chargers.
Chiefs -3.
What if I told you that the line tells you Justin Herbert is probably not playing?
Okay. Chiefs -8.
7.5.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
So I would guess Herbert's not playing. He might power through, but I think if he
Right.
plays, he's probably not going to be himself. Still a lot of points. I mean, the Chiefs have played close games this year. I'm still going to lay the points because of the Herbert thing, and I just don't think the Chargers can score with the Chiefs, but I could see this going wrong.
I'm with you.
Okay. Bills at the Ravens.
Your Bills that you forgot about.
Yeah.
Are the
did.
Ravens
Sunday Night
0-3?
Ravens are 1-3.
That's right. They won. Yeah.
They
1-2.
But it is a big game for them. 1-3 is not a great place.
Yeah,
to be.
yeah.
And they have a tough schedule, the Ravens.
In Baltimore, which is where we're going. Fans of Philly.
Come hang out with
Yeah.
us.
I met someone in New Orleans is going to be there. That's coming.
Hell yeah.
Very excited for that. Obviously, don't remember his name, but was a nice guy.
Why would you?
Yeah, of course. Bills -1.
Ravens -2.5.
I'm taking the Bills.
I am too,
Yeah,
and
I'm
I
taking
feel
the Bills.
great
I
about
think
it.
they're better. I don't know.
Dude, I think the Bills are.
Now this is a
really
Ravens
good.
need it more.
No, it is
Considerably
and this
more.
is a I don't know if it's a Ravens line. They're home, but it's somewhat Ravens line. I love the Bills. Maybe a
parlay. All right. It's a risky parlay, but
it
we're
is.
hot. And the
But
Bills won it for us last week.
Bills were our
You know what we should
go-to.
do? We should pick the same 3 teams every week until it loses.
Well, so we are. Oh no, we're on different sides with the Rams.
Yeah, but I could be swayed.
It would be funny.
Yeah,
it would be a
be.
really good bit.
It would be.
All right, Titans at the Dolphins. Another good. So by the way, 2 Monday night games again. No idea
Big
why.
Fangio, not a fan, to no surprise, of the 2 Monday night.
Yeah, shocked.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like a change, guy.
Probably not a fan of the Miami Dolphins either. So.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's a really good point. Who are the Dolphins playing?
Titans at the Dolphins.
Dolphins -. Well, they don't have a quarterback actually. Titans -1.5.
So you were right. The Dolphins -1.
Yeah,
I mean, to be fair, the Titans don't have a quarterback either. Will Levis is like Carson Wentz without the talent.
Will Levis.
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
unbelievable.
I have an off-air Will Levis take for you.
Oh, I love a good off-air
Yeah.
take.
I'm gonna go Dolphins.
I think I'm gonna take the Titans
Yeah.
after all that
All right,
Will Levis
yeah.
slander. I think they're just slightly better. Seahawks at the Lions, rounding out fun second game.
Yeah, undefeated Seahawks.
Yeah,
Lions -4.
3.5.
I'm gonna pick the Lions.
I love the Lions.
Yeah, I think the Lions are being so underrated here.
Dude,
I know
so-
you said there's no great team, but I think the Lions.
So they're my pick to win the Super Bowl,
Yeah.
buddy. And I haven't
Yeah.
moved off it. I'm with you. The Lions, that's the other thing to that Tampa game, and we probably should have talked about them being Tampa. Like, if you go back and look at that game, like the Lions dominated the Bucs in that game. The Bucs won, but the Lions, Baker Mayfield was sacked 7 times in that game. Like, it was the Lions had like 6 drives that they just didn't finish.
Yeah, I think it was a fluky one.
I agree. So I love the Lions. So do we like the Lions and the Bills? Do we want to?
Yeah.
Those are both risky because they're both good matchups.
Yeah, but I think we go with the
Go with
teams.
it.
Yeah.
All right. So wait, what was who was the third team of the party? Was it the Lions? It wasn't last week, was it?
No, it was the
We had the Rams,
The Rams,
Bills,
the Bills. You
and
texted it to me.
I got it right.
Steelers.
Steelers.
Hey, let's go Steelers.
Okay, even though I picked the Colts, I'm fine.
That's fine.
You know
Yeah.
we're both picking one the other
Yeah,
way.
yeah. So we're
All
gonna
right,
go
so
with the,
screw it. We're just gonna go.
Yeah, I think this is the way to do it.
All right.
Bills.
Here, let me put it.
Yeah. Hold on. Pull up the app.
Yes, here we go. Pulling it up, opening it up.
By the way, quick note, because I'm doing clapping hands after this.
Mhm.
Basketball betting almost back.
Oh
excited.
yes.
I remember I went through a phase where I was obsessed with like
We
play-
both
yeah,
were.
remember that account
Of
that would tweet out the
I need an update on it.
oh, there's nothing worse. I have it then. Hold on.
Oh, it's good. Wow, what a fast update. The Bet Parks. I mean,
There it is.
that should be our pitch. It even updates quick.
Yeah.
Well, it's technically not done. It went like,
Yeah,
it went
we were-
like 75% of the way. And
Oh, I need to update. Too.
okay, we're
This must
good.
just
I'm
come
good.
out
I'm good. I
today.
got it. I got it. We're good. See, quick update. I know
Yeah.
this. Which we should predict the Eagles game while I'm doing this. By the way, we never picked.
I don't want to pick the Eagles game yet. I'm picking it Saturday.
Okay,
I don't feel good enough about it yet.
I'm taking the Eagles. So
Okay,
that's fine.
there you go.
But we'll
I'm
do the
torn, yeah.
Saturday. Tune in. That's a good
Yeah.
reason. 1 to 3. Tune in to us at Parks.
Yeah.
As I'm on the Parks app. All right, here we go. All right, so we're taking
The Bills,
This is so funny.
the Rams,
So the Rams is up to +3 now, so we get a little half
Love
point
it.
there. Love it.
Bills,
Bills,
Rams.
Rams. Hold on. I gotta scroll down here. All right, so Bills +2.5. Or do we want to do money line?
No, it's 6 to 2.5.
Okay, why not?
What are they going to win by 1?
That's why I said money line,
Yeah.
but it's fine.
I guess we'd win. No,
Lions -3.5 or money line.
I think the 3.5.
Okay, we're doing it. +593, so almost the exact same odds as
I love it.
All right, we're set.
Couldn't be more in on this.
All right, final thoughts. Prepare yourselves. You go first because mine's gonna
All right. I've won.
shake the core of what. No, I'm just kidding. It's not that big.
So-
but it is pretty aggressive.
Let me be clear before I say this. As someone that almost had it rain on their wedding day, I truly do look back at the pictures of us like holding the umbrellas and I think no matter if you have the right attitude, no matter what happens on your
I
wedding
agree
day,
with you. It's all about
amazing.
It's a great point.
But I will be
It rained at
honest.
my wedding. We had to start our ceremony like
Right.
10 minutes early because the rain was coming, and we knew it was
And
gonna
if
get
you
worse.
have a good attitude about it, I think it's actually a really cool thing.
yeah, it
For sure.
poured
The
while we were
pictures are
inside, yeah.
awesome. It's a cool story. But I'll be honest, whenever I see pictures of people where their wedding was really impacted by rain, it is like one of the top 5. Like, I feel so bad.
Yeah.
Because like while you can be strong about it and you still have a great day and everything, that just has to be such like, are you kidding me thing.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, that's my thought.
I
I just feel really bad because like,
think anyone whose wedding day gets impacted with something.
yeah,
like
it's
that
just like,
is sad.
come on.
Yeah.
It's got to
I think that's a bit of. I think your final take from the last pod was better. Final thought.
well, it's just, well,
And
yours
that
is
was a
like-
fire one. This is,
Yeah.
we all agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just feel really bad for him.
I'll bring a real hot take here.
Yeah,
Later. That was it. Who doesn't feel bad for someone on their wedding day if things
Well,
don't
I
go
just
their
mean
way?
I feel really bad.
I get it.
Like it's like a
get it.
top 5.
You're
like
very
I feel-
you're very empathetic.
I am. Yes.
Okay. I think we should normalize and
Oh god.
make it okay to pick your nose.
I feel like you've.
I've never talked about this.
Okay.
I think that we
I'm
should.
fine with that.
As long as you wash your hands after, whatever. Like, I think we should be able to just go up. Like tissues, you never get it all. There's always some little thing in there. You can like stick the tissue in there. You can roll it up. You can do
Now,
whatever.
here's what I would
There's
say. though.
always a spot where you need to pick your nose to get the booger out of your nose. And we should all accept it, be okay with it. Everyone picks their nose. Let us pick
like
our
where do you
nose.
draw the line? Like I don't know.
Nowhere. Pick your nose. Like there is no.
What
draw-
about like picking your ear? I just feel like
What's the difference? Go for it. I don't care.
Well, I agree with you, and I don't think it's
I don't
gross.
think I've ever.
I think
picked
there's
my
an-
ear.
But I think there's an argument for just do it in the privacy. Or something.
That's fine if you want to do it in the. But I'm saying we should.
But you're
normalize
trying
it.
to normalize the ears like in a meeting, like because
Like,
when you blow your nose in front of
I
people.
think there should be some decorum with it.
You're-
I get it. Like I wouldn't blow my nose in a meeting like that. Like
That's fair.
you know, I mean, I would leave the room or I would do whatever. Like yes, it's the same decorum.
Well,
You-
put it this
I
way.
think what we have for blowing your nose, do it for picking.
Here's where we would agree. It's not gross to pick your nose.
No, and honestly, I think it's needed sometimes. Like sometimes you can't do the job with a tissue.
You know what I'm surprised is not an invention? Like
Nose picker.
yeah,
I'm with
nose
you. Like
pick.
we're like you're,
like
you
a
got
little
Q-tips.
scoop.
You
Like
got Q-tips. There's no nose picker.
how silly would we all look walking around like doing that?
I know.
like, literally just to avoid the finger.
But it's all because it's not normal.
now there probably is health reasons. Like
That's why I said wash your hands. Like it should be a hand washing after doing it.
no, I mean
100%.
before. Like your hands dirty, you're sticking it up your nose. That feels like
So wash your hands before and after if you really want
yeah,
to.
yeah,
It's
the whole
aggressive.
process to work.
I mean, it's
I-
like we
look,
touch our face. It is what it is.
I agree with the core of your.
Thank you. Thank you. Is that
Yeah.
not aggressive enough? I feel like that's pretty aggressive. We should just pick our nose everywhere.
Yeah, I'm good with it.
Okay. Thank you.
Good, I'm in.
All right, you gotta record another pod. We gotta get out of here.
Yeah,
Until
man.
then, 1 to 3 on Saturday, Parks. WIP. He's LMJ.